Well, as you can probably tell, Newsprint Florals is the title of this new collection from Hot Off the Press, as well as our webisode. And we're going to have some wonderful projects. In fact, let me show you one. Here it is. Now, this has got a surprise inside. This is an easel. But look what happens. There's another easel inside. So you get two for the price of one. Okay, will you please come play with us? Well, before I get into all the projects, let me just walk you through what the products are. So Newsprint Floral comes in 12 by 12 patterned cardstock. There are 12 double-sided sheets. You get 2 of each design plus 56 cutouts. Just makes a great package. To coordinate with it, we have 12 by 12 solid cardstock. Again, 12 double-sided sheets, and there are 2 each of 12 colors. Very neat. Now, we also have it in 6 by 6. Now, the 6 by 6 has 4 sheets of each of the patterns, and you also get 112 cutouts, so just lots going on. We also have Newsprint Florals chipboard. There are 22 pieces, and you'll be seeing how Lene has used them. We also have the cutting dies. There are 11 here, and just a beautiful set, I might add. And then finally, the Newsprint Florals die cuts. There are 31 here. They're on 2 sheets. And as always, with Hot Off the Press product, you always get ideas. And so that's true of this whole collection. Now, again, before I get into the projects, I do want to show something for our scrapbooking people. And this is the 12 by 12 pattern cardstock with the solid. And this is also using some of the chipboard, so really pretty. And you can see this is one photo, but she has torn the one edge and placed it on the back of the sheet. So just really gorgeous. Want to show you that. This is a die cut and some ribbon. Okay, now let's get into these projects, and we'll start with this. Now, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card, and Lene has used the 6 by 6 pattern cardstock on it, and she took the card, covered it with the solid cardstock. It's this one, so you can see. So she put some adhesive on her card, pressed this down, and then turned it over and trimmed it to fit. And that way it completely covered the card, and it just works nicely. Now, to use the 6 by 6, this is the sheet that she used, and you can see that it is just a little bit wider, so that gives you an extra piece to use elsewhere. And that was just placed right there. Now, going into this, as I said, Lene used some chipboard. And here is a closer look at the sheet. So the thinking of you, my friend, that's all here. This large piece, although it's just right there, as you can see it, little piece right here. And all of these were colored. And let me just show you the inks that Lene used. So she used the khaki prism, which is going to go onto the greenery, and you can see right here. Also the warm honey, and that's going to be the yellow. Now, she also used the gingerbread, and the gingerbread she used to edge the area of her card, as well as this piece that comes out of the package. Now, about the coloring of them, Lene likes to use the blending tool to do the edges of her cards. Now, this is available, and it works very, very nicely. And although you can use a blending tool or a blender tool. So this is a blender tool. This is a blending, ing. They're all available, of course, at Paper Wishes. So the way you're going to do that with either tool is to put this on your craft mat and then tip into the appropriate ink, be this one, the gingerbread, and then just go right around the edge like so, and that's going to do a beautiful job. And again, you can do the exact same thing with this. Now, to go into the chipboard, because she has this kind of an ombre look, she needed a different tool. And she used the sponge daubers, finger daubers. So these just slip onto your finger. You can tap them into the ink and then spread them. had this been a solid color, you could simply go directly with the ink onto the chipboard. But doing that very clever ombre look, a slightly different process was needed. So that just worked very, very nicely. Now, Lene has also done an edge at the top and the bottom. And in fact, I will tell you that the same products were used, I think, on all 4 of the projects. So I just want to get into them a little bit. This is the Fancy Border Pearl and Pastel Dazzles. Now, there are, I believe it's 18 sheets in here. So this is one sheet of the Dazzles, and you get them in the pastel colors, as you can see here, as well as in the pearl colors. So just beautiful. But then you get another sheet, because like that wasn't enough, and you get it in all the same finishes. So the pastel and the pearl. Okay, there we go. And just gives you so many options. And like I said, these were used on most of the projects today. So that goes our front card. And then on the inside, remember that little strip you had? We had the 6x6. Well, Lene cleverly used it right here. Wanted to say hello. That's one of the cutouts out of the newsprint floral. And there is the pearl dazzles, and the pearl ones were used at the top and the bottom. So, oh, pretty. Okay. That gets us off to a nice start, don't you think? Now, we're going to go to our second card, and it is this one. And what Lene has done is she has made, we call this an S-fold card, and it just goes like this. Point of fact, you can see this piece was also used, so also covered, so that was nice. Now, again, this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card, and the way that she did this, I'm sure most of you know, but she has her card folded. She measured 2.5 inches in and then did a score line. Now, Lene, as most of our designers like to do, is she used the scoreboard from Hunky Dory. Because what you can do is just open this up and measure in 2.5 inches and use the bone folder just to make your line clear and straight and perfect every time, kind of effortlessly. And then what she did is she folded this back along the score line, just like this. Now you will want to use that same bone folder and really press down on that score line so that it won't be popping up like that, okay? Now, let me show you what she used on this card. So you can see that the blue blue roses are used. And this is the sheet. It is in the 12 by 12 collection. So you can see on the inside of her card, she used this part of the sheet. But then going to the middle section, she used this. And then going to the top section, she went up to the top, the front section, she went to the top of her sheet. So everything gets used. Well, actually, there's still more left. So that's kind of nice. And all of those were simply edged with, going back to the gingerbread, and inked on the sides. And they are trimmed a little bit smaller than the card. Again, the card is 5 by 6.5. We find that when there's white in the artwork, it's really nice to have that white border. So that's just something that you can take note of. And then notice they are all the same height. That works. And these two, of course, are the same size. So these are glued down. And then she placed, again, we're going back to those dazzles. In fact, you can see it's the blue set that she used, and it's going right across the top and a different one across the bottom. Also notice that she did not cover the score lines, because that tends to make the paper kind of gap and be a bit unsightly. So just going straight to that and leaving a little bit of a gap. And again, it's just a border like you've got on all of them. Now, the smile, that comes out of the cutouts from the sheet. And I'm sorry, I don't have that, but let me assure you, that is a sheet with lots of them. The Smile and Be Happy, it already has a border, but she did another border, and she did that out of the dark blue cardstock in the solid set. And that was simply glued the left side of it to the left side of the card front. And you see those flowers? Those are from the cutting die. And the cutting die makes these open flowers. They're pretty much roses, would you say? And there's a single one, a smaller one, a different smaller one, a double, and then a triple. And then there are leaves with these individually or in clusters. And just beautiful. Now what she did is she used that same blue solid cardstock as well as the green when she die cut these flowers out, and she just simply glued them down. Just looks really nice. On the inside, this is where we've got some of the die cuts, and the die cuts that she has used is obviously It's Your Day to Shine, as well as It's Your Birthday. Now that's going to be on the second sheet. You can see it right there. And that works just really nicely. So that finishes the card. Everything is coordinated. Everything works together quite beautifully. Okay, let's go to our next card. And this is a different size. This is a 5x5 card. And while you can trim down our 5x6.5, we do carry from Hunky Dory 5x5 cards with envelopes. So there are 10 of each in this package. But what Lene did with that 5x5 card is, well, let's see, let me show you this card, because this is really kind of different. So we've got our 5x5. You can see it's got a kind of card in a card right here. And this opens up too. So really nice. Okay, so how did the woman do it? Well, she took her 5x5 card. From the fold, she measured 2 inches and trimmed off. So that meant that there were 3 inches that cut off of the card front. And then this is turned like this, okay? Then she took another piece. Now this is the solid cardstock. It is 8 inches by 4 inches. She scored it in the middle, so she measured 4 inches, scored it. And then this is going to be placed right here. And because it is our cardstock and you get a different shade of the same color, it works quite perfectly. So let's go back to the card and let me show you what's going on. Remember that green cardstock that we used on the last card? Well, this is the one that was used here. You can see it's light on one side, darker on the other. So what she did to begin with is covered the inside of her card. So you can see that that is the light green. Simply, again, trimmed it a little bit smaller than the card, inked the edges once again, colored them with the gingerbread, and then glued it into the center. Now again, she's gone back to our big sheet of fancy border dazzles, and you can see that she has used the green pearl. Isn't that pretty? You can see it right there. So it's not super shiny. It is a pearl. It's a luminescent color, so really nice. Now, then she took the smaller piece that she did and glued it in place here. Now you want to make sure that it will be in the center and it will go over that front flap. So we're going to glue that down. And what she did is, let's do the front of it first. So she went into the 5x5 pattern cardstock, and here's the sheet she used. Isn't that pretty? Now she trimmed it to fit, and she did mat it on the lighter green, but first she colored the edges with gingerbread, okay, and then matted it on the light green and simply glued it in place. Then she took this die cut, You Make the World Beautiful, and you can see it's already matted for you, and foam taped it right there. Then she used the 1/16 inch ribbons, and let me show you them, this package, and made a bow and knotted that in place. Then inside, this is a part of the die cuts, and I really like this when the designers trim them down. So you can see this piece. Well, she simply cut that middle section, glued that down, and then this is an area from here that she didn't use. Now you get 4 of each sheet, so you've got extra sheets. So that works very nicely. So that's going to go there. Sending smiles, well, that is also part of the die cuts right there. And you notice that everything coordinates. More of the green dazzles right there. And then look at that. Isn't that pretty? Here is, again, that cutting die. And this is the big one with the 3 flowers. And she did add more leaves. Again, did them out of green cardstock and then added some white cardstock too. So that works well. Then this little flap we haven't discussed yet. Now that is going to be the, going to go with the back side of that sheet. And you can see right there and there again, done with the gingerbread. There we go. And matted on the dark green, and then the light green is behind it, so it's a double mat. And again, those same dazzles right there. So you have this very neat card. It has kind of some fun things as you get to it, and you like this, oh, that's fun, and that's nice, oh, isn't that pretty? And then we've got this flap, so lots going on there in a 5x5 size. Okay, one more card from Lene. And let me show you. In fact, this is the one that I showed you in the beginning. And I think it's also very clever. Not that the others weren't, because they are wonderful. This is that double easel. And I have to tell you, I don't know that I've seen that before. And so we're going to start with our card base. And this is done out of the solid cardstock. And let me show you the sheet. It's dark red on one side, lighter on the other side. And this is what she has used to make her card base. So she began with the sheet, with the piece of solid cardstock, 12x5. She went into the center and scored it. So measuring from the left, going 6 inches, and then going 9 inches. Again, you want to create that easel. So she scored it again using the scoreboard. And it's going to be just like this. And this is how she positioned it also. So the light color is showing on the front. Then she made a second piece, and that's going to go inside, obviously. This is 10 inches by 4 1/4. Again, going from the left, she measured in 5 inches and then 7 1/2 inches. Did a double score again, because we want to have a second easel, and folded. And then this is going to be the other fold that's going to go on the inside of this card. And let me just show you that. And notice that this also is hinged at the top, so that works nicely. Okay, let's see what product she used. So as I said, this is the red set. And she did use the 12x12. She did first cover, well, her card is already the light red. So she took the piece, now this one, and trimmed it to be a little over 6 inches. And then, yes, gingerbreaded it. Okay, is that a word? We can use that. And then matted it on the dark red. So you can see that there's light red on the edge, dark red here, and then this. Now we're going back to those same dazzles, and I do appreciate that she's using it so many times, because it's just a beautiful collection. Now this is the silver pearl, and that has been used at the top and the bottom. The hello, my friend, well, that comes out of our die cuts right there. And you can see that she tipped it at an angle when she foam taped it in place. Again, the 16th inch ribbons, that is right there. And when you have this piece done, you want to make sure to glue the bottom of it to the bottom of the card front, just like that. That way it's going to attach. Now let's go to our second layer. And our second layer is using one of the cutouts, and you can see it right here. And I have to tell you that we do this with all of our collections. We generally have a sheet that has these larger cutouts, and here is why. Because it's just such a perfect card focal. And I love how she has added even more gingerbread around the edges. But there you've got it. Then she also placed more of the silver dazzles. This is the silver pearl. The thinking of you, well, the thinking of you comes from the die cuts. There you go. The ribbon has been zotted in place, and nice that all those colors come in that package. And the same thing, when you have that done, you want to glue that bottom of it to the bottom of this card. And then you can glue the whole thing into your card. Now notice it's going to be even with the bottom edge of the card. Now the inside of this, okay, now this, you know, it kind of looks like these, but it's not. What she has done is she has taken the back side of this one that went on the front and has cut it to fit on the inside of her card. And then she used this area. Now this area she used in the card front. She's using this area on the card inside. Everything gets gingerbreaded and placed and glued to the inside of her card. More of these silver pearl dazzles. And again, this is one of the die cuts, and let me show it to you right here. She has foamed that in place because that's going to be the stopper for this one. Now, because this is flat, it's going to work just fine as a stopper for the card front. Okay, let me show this to you sideways. Okay, so that's going to hold that card front upright just as we want it, and very, very nice. So we've got some fun things going on. Now, Lene does not write directions, so she does have the list of the supplies. Hopefully, I've given you enough to complete your projects, but you can see that they do carry the same types of products, but the processes and the looks are very different, so that's wonderful. Now, again, like I haven't said it enough, this is using Newsprint Floral solid cardstock, Newsprint Floral 12 by 12 patterned. You saw many of the die cuts used, so that was nice. We've got the 6 by 6 Newsprint Floral. You saw the chipboard being used, and the cutting dies are a kind of our final wonderfulness for this collection, and this is brand new this month. Now, we do have a brand new collection every single month. That's right, 12 a year. If you are interested in getting them, well, we've got a deal for you. Here it is. We call this I Want It All. Now, this is going to be everything but not the cutting die. So this, if you would like, just sign up. It's over on the right side of our screen. You will get a 20% off of the retail for this, and you're going to get all of these. Plus, you will receive this before we do the webisode, so you've got all of the ideas on the packaging, and then when the webisode happens, you've got even more. Now, say you want that cutting die, well, we call that I Really Want It All, and that's going to include the cutting die. Same deal, 20% off. You're going to get these every month, and it's sort of a wonderful surprise. So again, that is over on the right side of the screen where our Money Saver is, and our Money Saver is going to give you a discount on all of the products together, and it will also list for you. When you click on any of the projects down below, you'll see the list of supplies, so you can decide what you'd like to have. And I want to thank, well, number one, I want to thank Lene for doing a marvelous job, some wonderful ideas, and some brand new clever ideas, I would say. I want to thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please head on over to paperwishes.com. Take advantage of the Money Saver on the right side of your screen, and we hope you'll join us. And I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you next time.